Hi, Oak Knoll. It's Mr. Saburn. Happy Sunday. Filming this on Saturday. It's warm, it's sunny. I think this Sunday is going to be kind of dark and gloomy. So I want to do something a little bit different. But before I do that, I do want to thank everyone on the great job that you're doing. Students, parents, faculty, staff, the whole community. You're just doing a wonderful job in a very, very difficult and challenging situation. I'm not surprised because we are Oak Knoll. So thank you, keep it up, keep your spirits up, be hopeful. Pray that we're able to join together on campus before the end of the school year. And in the meantime, I have a little story for you, and I'm actually going to do a little cooking demonstration for you. So you need to understand that when I was in junior high school, in 8th grade, in the mid-1970s, everybody in the school, my public school, had to take sewing, wood shop, metal shop, and cooking for 1 quarter. I told Mr. Cardell's 8th grade art class right before break that I had actually sewn my own set of sweatpants that were sky blue, had elastic waistband, elastic around the ankles, and I used a pattern. If you don't know what a pattern is, it's how you make clothing. Unfortunately, I reversed the pattern so that the part that was supposed to be around my thighs was down around my calves. So I was telling the girls and Mr. Cardell that my mother referred to them the rest of my life as my clown pants. But I did learn how to sew, and I had already known how to cook a little bit, but I learned how to cook. And when 9th grade came along, I signed up for gourmet cooking. So there was a whole bunch of girls in the class, and then it was Nikki Hathaway and me. And our first cooking experiment was on a September day, last period of the day, right before football practice. And it was an assignment to make Eggs Benedict. And part of Eggs Benedict is something called Hollandaise Sauce. Hollandaise Sauce is very rich, it's very smooth. You put it on Eggs Benedict, you put it on asparagus, you can put it on other vegetables. It's not something you do all the time. So we had to learn how to make it from scratch, which we did. It's very difficult because there's a lot of timing to it, and when you're doing Eggs Benedict, there's even more timing. So Nikki and I and the girls in the class, we made our Eggs Benedict, we ate them all up, and then Nikki and I had to go to football practice in about 85-degree weather. Which gives me a public service announcement to tell you, never, ever eat Hollandaise sauce before any athletic practice or event. Just not a good policy. Anyway, that began my love-hate relationship with Hollandaise sauce because of the football experience, actually. So as I got older, I would make it from scratch, but it was very time-consuming. It was also not that easy to do. And those of you who have made it know what I'm talking about. So when I got a little bit older and I got married to my wife, I would try to make it every once in a while, but I would cheat. And I would use a packet, which wasn't easy either, big timing thing too. But I would buy packets of Hollandaise sauce and they'd mix together, and it was a lot easier than doing it from scratch. And then one day, about, 4 or 5 years ago, I guess, I had a snow day. I called off school and I was watching the cooking channel. I was watching The Pioneer Woman, and she talked about making Hollandaise sauce in a blender. And I thought, well, that's nuts. Nobody can do that. I had started a tradition in my family. Christmas morning, after the gifts were opened, before we went to Mass, I would make Eggs Benedict. I would get all stressed out because of the timing of the eggs, the ham, the English muffin, and the Hollandaise sauce, even from a packet. It got so bad, and I would be so stressed out that finally my wife and my kids said, no more Eggs Benedict Christmas morning, because there was just too much stress with the timing and trying to get to church. So all of a sudden, I discovered this blender method. And so what I'm going to do today is I'm going to show you how to do this blender method to make Hollandaise sauce, and it takes about, 3 minutes maybe. First thing I did is I melted 2 sticks of butter. Not one and not half of one, but 2 sticks of butter. So obviously the 2 sticks of butter are that's the main ingredient. It's very heavy, it's very rich, but it's absolutely delicious. I'm just going to reheat it a little bit in the microwave. just to make sure it's very hot, because you'll see what I have to do with it. Now, a tricky part of this process in this recipe is you have to separate eggs, because you have 3 eggs, 3 egg yolks that you actually put in the blender. So you have the blender on its stand. Make sure the blender bottom is on securely. I found out, and I never knew this, that blender bottoms can be taken off. I made Hollandaise sauce. I was so proud of it. Picked it up, and then it went all over the blender. Anyway, make sure that's on. Put your blender in your thing. And then take 3 eggs, and you're going to separate the eggs. Now, I don't know if you can see this very well, but this is sort of a delicate process. What you do is you crack your egg. There's different ways to do it. You crack the egg, and you want to get only the yolk. So you pass it back and forth between the 2 sides of the eggshell. And you see that drops into a bowl beneath it. And yes, I did wash my hands before I did this. You always have to wash your hands, particularly now, but before you cook. So there's one. So again, you crack it. There's a way you can do it with your hands, which my son does, but I don't really know how to do that. And then you literally pass it. It's very kind of gooey. You pass it back and forth between the 2 halves of the egg. Now what you could do, I suppose, is you could make a meringue out of that, which I don't know how to do, so you're not going to learn how to do that today. So here's the 3rd egg. This is the most time-consuming part of this process or recipe. Again, pass it back and forth. And once you do that, you'll see when you know when you've gotten most of the, I think it's called albumin. I'm not certain about that. So you put it in the blender, all 3 egg yolks, put the top on your blender, and then at the slowest speed possible, you blend the egg yolks, all right? So you blend them together. We have an old-fashioned blender, so you take out the top. That's my fantasy football update. And then, again on the same speed, the slowest speed, you begin to slowly pour the butter into very thick and creamy. You then take a lemon and you squeeze the juice from the lemon into the sauce. And if the sauce is too thick, you can add more lemon juice. So you blend that up, put the sauce in it. And then you take cayenne pepper, which is going to add a little bit of heat, but you need to put a lot of cayenne pepper in to give it a lot of heat. And you just put in cayenne pepper, and you blend that as well. And you can taste it and see if it's, oh, that's good. I can tell by the thickness, so that's all set. So what you can do if you're making eggs Benedict is you'd have eggs poaching, or you could fry them, but traditionally it's poached eggs. and you could have them going on. And then all you take that hollandaise sauce in your blender and you just pour it over the eggs. I don't know if you can see this, but yeah, that's a great consistency, if I do say so myself. And that took easily half the time that it would take if you did this at home. Traditionally, what you do too with eggs Benedict is you put paprika, not cayenne pepper. You put paprika, which looks like cayenne pepper, on top of the eggs Benedict on the hollandaise sauce. So anyway, if you want to try something fun, I know the Mental Health Club in the upper school did a great video yesterday and it asked people what they were doing. A lot of people said they were cooking, they were baking, and that kind of gave me the idea to do this. So give it a try. Shoot me an email if you do and it goes well. Shoot me an email if you do it and it doesn't go well. But anyway, thank you. Stay healthy. Wash your hands. Hope we see you soon.